list of things she needed fixed during their time there. He loved fixing things. A nephew recalled he could fix anything, and it always seemed to cost only $1. Brenton was often seen on Sundays working on whatever vehicle needed attention, with both boys working with him. He enjoyed following his children's progress at school and was always in attendance at their events. The family was very connected with all of their neighbors on Drindle Circle there in Paradise. Brenton had a row of keys to many of his neighbors' houses so that he could check on the houses and watch their houses when they were gone. Brent also enjoyed being a ham radio operator, inspired by his friend Bernie Mallory, who is still living in Paradise. The addition of 5 grandchildren to the family added much joy to the lives of Ann and Brenton. They loved talking with them, visiting with them, hearing about their many activities. They also were very involved in keeping track of their many nieces and nephews and their families. In 1959, Brenton began working at Chico State University in the health department, overseeing the laboratory and x-ray departments. He worked there for 24 years, where he made many lasting friendships. He is remembered by his co-workers for his silly, bad jokes and care for his employees. After his retirement, he volunteered for the Red Cross. His duties included traveling throughout the United States following disasters to assist in the task of reuniting families. On one cross-country trip, after explaining his Red Cross duties to another passenger, he was handed a donation check for the Red Cross, which he happily delivered. He also worked part-time for Feather River Hospital and was always a proud supporter of that fine hospital. Both Ann and Brenton were very active in the Paradise Adventist Church, where Brenton loved working with the PA system. And I need to pause right here. Because of his great love for PA systems, it so happens that my wife and I were student missionaries from Pacific Union College, just following my wife's graduation from nursing, and I had one more year to finish up at PUC. But we spent a year in Nicaragua, Central America, where Nancy's job, my wife Nancy, her job was in surgery and OB there at the Little Mission Hospital, and my duties were to assist in the building of a new clinic for the hospital. When Brenton heard that we were going to go to a Little Mission Hospital in Nicaragua, of course, thinking back to his younger days, which I hadn't even heard of then, to Puerto Rico, then Central America. Now I can understand why Central America was near and dear to his heart. But he said, Tommy, I want to send a PA system with you down to the hospital. Now, when it comes time for you to wire all the speakers and everything, I will give you instructions over the ham radio. And if you need any help in then finalizing and hooking it all up, I am your man. Well, I can tell you he made sure the PA system was wired correctly when the clinic was being built, and it worked perfectly on the first try. Once we had completed the clinic and were able to call the patients to wherever they needed to go, and so Brenton was very proud of that accomplishment. And served the Paradise Church as treasurer for 35 years and worked in many children's divisions. Both were very involved in the fundraising for the new church. and always active supporters of the students and activities at the Adventist school. Brenton was chairman of the 75th anniversary of the Paradise Church. Their lives revolved around their faith, love of their family, and love for their church family. Ann and Brenton moved to Feather Canyon Retirement Center in 2013. There they made many new friends among the residents and employees. Brenton continued his daily routine of faithfully putting out Old Glory every morning. Yes, right outside their door. So Brenton did a very good job of that. Brenton was very proud of his country and the service to his country. His walker was proudly decorated in red, white, and blue, and little flags taped to the vertical supports of his walker. When he was still able to, they would come to church on the Beeline bus, and he would proudly, Anne in her pink and trimmed in purple walker, and Brenton with his red, white, and blue walker. At Feather Canyon, Brenton loved being asked to lead the group in the Pledge of Allegiance while wearing his Coast Guard uniform that he had been issued, which, by the way, still fit him perfectly. Not many of us could say that, I know. As they say, speak for yourself. I am. Then came November 8th, last year. The campfire forced them to leave their beloved paradise on the ridge. Hearing of the massive destruction and knowing so many friends who have lost everything has been very hard for both Ann and Brent. The loss of the church, which they watched being constructed in the early 1960s, where they had worshiped for many, many years, has been a huge loss for them. In his time at Piners in Napa, following his broken hip, Brenton often spoke of paradise at his bedside and often read to him. Two verses she often shared were Matthew 28, verse 20, I am always with you, and Joshua 1:5, I will be with you, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Brenton will be laid to rest in paradise, his beloved paradise, next week on May 14th. We all look forward to seeing him on that great getting up morning. And now, Sue, where is Sue? Oh, now Sue Alexander has a little story to share with you at this time. Oh, she said, can I speak from back here? I tell you. Sam?
Tell her to speak up.
Speak up, really.
I will.
Okay.
I enjoyed going and visiting Brent in Piners after he broke his hip, and I decided one day that he needed to have his room brightened up a little. And it was a lovely room, but I just decided that it might be good to brighten his room. So I said, Brent, what's your favorite flower? I realized that he was a man, but you know, men can enjoy flowers too. And
Yes.
it's an uplift, right? Somebody said yes, that's good. So I said, Brent, what's your favorite flower? And he said, roses. I used to work with roses. So I think that he must have had a pretty nice rose garden, right?
Yes.
And I said, roses, that's great. I said, what's your favorite color of roses? And he said, blue. And I hesitated for a minute, and then I said, blue roses. Okay. Yes, he said blue roses. And you know what? I thought maybe I had missed something in life. Because I had not ever remembered seeing blue roses, so I went to my favorite place. And I thought, you know what? I don't care if anybody laughs at me. This is for Brent. So I love to arrange flowers. But, so I went to Safeway, and they have a beautiful assortment of very fresh flowers. But I went to the girl there, and I said, could you tell me something? Have you ever seen, or do you know if there is such a thing as blue roses? And I told her the story. She said, no, unless you dye them, but I've got an idea. She was the nicest girl. She said, I have a bouquet of the most beautiful roses. In fact, they're used exclusively at French Laundry here in Yountville, if anybody knows about that restaurant. And she says, I will sell these roses to you. She said, let's pick a really nice vase and we'll put a blue bow on it. I said, that just sounds awesome. And I thought, this could just be Britt's gift to Anne. So she fixed up, I thought that, yes, here it is. We chose the vase, and she put these roses. I have to tell you, we refurbished them a couple of times because we had to keep them alive. And she gave me a choice of ribbon, and she fixed it all up. And I thought, you know what? Those are the most beautiful blue roses. And to me, that was such a heartfelt gift of love. And so I took them to Anne, and I told her the story. And I think she's really, really loved the blue roses because it was like a piece, a gift from her husband. And he was a very special person. The other thing I just want to mention is that almost every time I visited him, he would say, you know what matters is the altitude of your attitude that makes the difference. That will forever be in my mind because he really did try to be upbeat and have a good attitude, even though he was hurting and not feeling good. And we would sing together. I would sing and he would listen. And I felt a bond, even way more than I had in Paradise when we were very young in the ministry. But Anne wanted me to tell you the story of the blue roses. And to me, it was the most special gift he could ever given to her.
Very nice, very nice. I wonder if anyone has ever tried, anyone flower aficionados? An aficionado here? I wonder if you put a white rose in blue dye water.
Yeah.
No, it's not gonna absorb and.
I would think it will.
Pardon?
I have the answer to that. We put blue food coloring in the water and water them like that for a while, and when you cut them, put food coloring in the base and roast them.
Okay, there it is. You heard it from the rose expert. Blue food coloring, put it in the water, all that. All right. One thing that Anne and Brenton have loved, and that is music. And I invite